Hello everybody, my name is Al-Beik and I've decided to create a new series called My Journey. And it's about my entrepreneurship journey here at Wings. And if you don't know, I am the CEO and founder of Wings, where we create robotics and automation, component systems and end-to-end solutions with people first in mind. So I wanted to just express myself as much as I can as an entrepreneur to my other entrepreneurs, to the other CEOs, to engineers, innovators, to investors, to business owners, to the service industry as a whole, to share kind of a little bit more of who I am, where my thinking is, and why we are where we are today and how we're going to head forward. And today I'm going to address specifically robots. Surprise. Because it's a topic that I don't think we're having a good conversation about this. It's now becoming a transitional, reactionary operations for the industry. All we're seeing is people just reacting to technologies that have existed, slightly tweaked, to solve an immediate problem without thinking of its true impact outside financials, short or long term. So, we know that robotics and automation are important for the service industry for many reasons. We should have had this for a while now, not reacting to it in this fashion, but blessings in disguise. So what I want to talk about is the type of robotics that's coming into the industry. And I want to start very simple, with the idea that the people who inhibit pretty much the service industry completely, and the first upgrade to the service industry has been the digital orders, which, as many know, it's a very old tech from Silicon Valley, really, and e-commerce and all that stuff. We just took it and plugged right in. We didn't think about it. We didn't try to reevaluate it. Works pretty well in some cases, but for the most part, it overrun those businesses. Now there's multiple channels to order from a store. Now, with labor and costs and inflation, now we're reacting the same way. We're buying up robots that replace people exactly. Even look like them. Have you seen those serving robots? With a face and eyes and a tray and a hand. And they put stuff in it. There's a guy who puts it in, or a person who puts in the food for you and tell it exactly what table to go to. What's the robot doing? Is that a robot? It's a tray with a motor with some sensors. That is the worst version of a robot. It's a robot. It's great. But it's the worst version of a robot. When you think of a robot, what do you think? Efficient. Cost-effective. Consistent. Increases bandwidth, can do multiple things at once. So this robot now is an environment, right, where people are. Alien things in front of it. And people have to deal with it. Now you can put sensors on the robots and protect people from it and all that. But you're missing the whole point, is that that space used to be occupied by people. So now we're worried about robots taking over the world and AI and all that. Well, it's happening. The whole point of automation and robotics and cutting labor, the whole point of that is to create creative energies, isn't it? To create more entrepreneurs. What does an artist need? And what's an entrepreneur? It's an artist with a business plan. You need to be an artist to bring in some creative idea. You need the space to express it as much as possible for us, where we as humans can further collaborate and grow together and truly have a community. Now we're giving out that space to an alien thing that looks like us but acts nowhere near like us. So now we have to deal with it. How does this robot does things? how that robot does things. Do I get to keep an eye on my child every 5 seconds to make sure that weird thing who doesn't understand me, who's not even intuitive at all, something can go amok? We're not really thinking this through. We start here. God knows where this is going to take us. Okay? So one of the main reasons why we created what we created is because of this, is that we cannot lose ourselves in the process when we are trying to liberate ourselves. These robotics came from factories, these ideations of it. Even with flexible manufacturing, or whatever you want to call it in terms of dynamism that can exist in a manufacturer, the I/O is pretty much figured out. The timing of it, the amount of it, and things like that. In a retail space, now you have to start thinking. Let's take the worst case scenario, or let's take the most common scenario in New York. Those retail places are tiny. You want to bring this robot and take more space from people? Let alone from the staff themselves too as well? And they don't understand it, and they're not robotics engineered to figure out if something goes wrong? So we're just mashing things together without really thinking this through. Just like a chip processor design. They're getting smaller, aren't they? More efficient, more powerful. Disappears behind the scene. While what's important, intuitive aspects of your life is being dealt with, is being computed. So what I'm guiding here to the investors, the CEOs, to the engineers, to the other entrepreneurs, to robotics companies in charge, it's because we can build something. It doesn't mean that's what we need. Automation and robotics are important for many reasons. We do want to reduce labor. We want to increase creative entrepreneurship in the industry. We want to be able to minimize cost. In fact, we want to minimize management and make it more administrable while automation is happening. While creative work is happening, focused on more elevating that creative job, whatever it is. But the space that is highly valuable in the service industry, you need to come up with a product that says the space you had before is now even more valuable. You can't just jump in and take more space. Now you have people thinking twice. And why are we making them look like us? Why? It is illogical. It is a terrible robot. So, I love robots. And it is important for us in this time that we are living in. But we need to start really thinking about novel ideas of how we go about developing and designing these things and how they truly can elevate the whole experience end to end by looking at how people want to live, how they want to approach the world, how they want to navigate and explore. The robots needs to be somewhere else. The robots need their own environments so that they can operate efficiently as much as possible. So they can be consistent, so they can be the best robots they can be. Humans are the same thing. They need the same environment. They need to be the same inefficient environment if they want to. They're creative artists. They're not robots. Let that be for them. So now you're separating the concerns between these two. And now you have an environment that you can really, really change the way we live. But you have to address it in that way. You have to rethink your business model. You have to rethink how the logistics will work internally. Thank you.